What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Kibo podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in these turbulent times. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Meanwhile, we have a special guest with us today. My good friend Hillmann Batuo is joining us. He's now a fourth year, right?
Going to the fourth year.
Yeah, so third year done, medicine student here at Maastricht University in the Netherlands. Yeah, man, thank you so much for taking the time and being here. I really appreciate it, especially now during Corona. We try to keep our distance just a little bit, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
It is what it is.
Yeah, man. No, thank you for being here, definitely.
Thank you for having me.
So today is a Thursday? We have 4 p.m. now, pretty much half the day gone by. Mm-hmm. How's your day been thus far, man? What you been up to? I know summer vacation just started.
Yeah.
Right?
What have I been up to?
Yeah.
What have we been up to? So we did something. We
just did this morning. We helped our friend open her apartment door, because she locked herself out.
Exactly. So we did that legally.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. We saved her 140 euros.
True. Which I think is a ripoff. Yeah. But so we did that. So we got the door open, and then I had to hang out with some friends on a rooftop bar, very fancy. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and I just came from hanging out with them basically. So that is more or less what I've been up to today. And afterwards, I'm still hanging out with friends, movie night, chill and stuff like that.
Okay, so you're really taking the vacation as it is, right?
Yeah.
No studying, no school stuff.
Tricky. I'm getting driving classes. So at the moment, I am doing some reading just so I know what rules and what the boards mean, because I have no idea what these boards all mean. But so that's the studying I'm doing basically. And I have one last exam in August, but that's like a skills thing, which everyone should pass.
Okay, so that's pretty easy.
Should be easy.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
No, but so finishing your third year is do you even have bachelor's in medicine?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
But nobody, what is it good for?
Nothing,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So it's just a European system of, I don't know if Germany has the same system. I don't think they do. Some countries just have the whole medical program, and then you get your certification or your registration or whatever, and then you're a doctor. But then we have the situation where you have the bachelor's and then the master's, and then you're a doctor. But I think it's more like, or at least for me, it's just I have something to show for the 3 years I have been studying.
Yeah.
Say I was to drop out of med school in the 5th year.
And you got a bachelor's in medicine.
I got a bachelor's in medicine. It's a bachelor's in science, like a bachelor of sciences. So you can do other science masters with it as well.
Okay.
But it's just you cannot really get a job with the bachelor's, because what are you going to do? Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then we should celebrate that then. I didn't know that.
We're going to celebrate when I get the degree in my hands, because anything can happen.
Okay, you got a degree after your skills or what?
Yeah, during the graduation ceremony. So in November, something like that.
Okay, I didn't know you had a graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
Bachelor's in medicine.
I know. I get a degree, yeah.
Okay, but at least congratulations on that in advance.
Thank you.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I know you since
2 years. No, 3, yeah.
Yeah, 3 years, right?
3, yeah. We've just been close for 2.
Yeah. But so I know that you want to be a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
Right? You want to go into that field.
Mm-hmm.
So how long, since when have you had that thought, neurosurgery?
Neurosurgery. Definitely before I started studying medicine, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah. But I think it's a combination of factors, because I don't know if you're going to ask this question afterwards, but the reason I wanted to study medicine was that was not my initial plan. I had thought about it sometimes. I had a lot of friends tell me I could be a good doctor. I was good at biology. My teachers told me I should study medicine in high school. They were like, yeah, if you don't study medicine, I don't know what you're going to do with your life. But I personally didn't really vibe with it that much, because it's something, especially where I'm from, everyone who is smart is assumed to go study medicine.
Really?
I was like, I don't want to be in that box. I don't want to be just, already hindered with my choices before I even have to choose. Mm-hmm. So, I know when I left Cameroon to come study in the Netherlands, I was going to study artificial intelligence, because I love brain stuff, machines, and just how you can command stuff.
Thinking works.
Yeah, thinking. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm fascinated by thinking, and the fact that you could put thinking in a machine, I was like, I want to know what that is, right? But then I came to the Netherlands and I looked up bachelor programs in artificial intelligence, and they had just master's programs. And if you wanted to study bachelor's of artificial intelligence, you had to go to America or Japan or somewhere where it was booming at the time. We're talking 2016. It was already something, but then you can imagine not all universities offered it. So I came here and I was like, okay, I cannot do artificial intelligence because there's no programs here, and I could not study outside of the Netherlands for some reasons. So I had to look for the next best alternative.
Right.
And for me, at that point, I was like, initially, my plan with artificial intelligence was outside the fascination about the topic. It was also because I thought machines help people. It makes life easier for people, right? Because if you have a machine, you just have a robot in your house, do this, it does it. So then life is made easy for people. So then my thought process was, with this, I can help people, which is something I'm passionate about, just helping people in any way I can. So then I was like, okay, what's the next best alternative to help people? Then medicine was the easy choice because I'm good at biology. I am not afraid of blood or anything else that could hinder you from being a doctor. I have good communication skills. So all these factors put together was just like, okay, medicine is the next best alternative for me. Right. And after 2 or 3 years of doing medicine, I'm like, okay, I prefer this to artificial intelligence. Okay, at least there's more here I can achieve than if I did artificial intelligence.
So it was a good choice.
It was a good choice, yeah.
And then...
It is a good choice. Well, it was. Anyways.
I mean, you made the choice back then, right?
Fair enough.
But back then, meaning after high school or before high school?
After high school.
After you finished high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I made the choice during high school. I think in high school, I just knew I knew what I was going to do.
Right.
But I never made a choice in high school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because the interesting part is, right, why I have you on this podcast, and not other regular medical students, right? It's because you came from Cameroon, right? You grew up there, you went to school there, and you came over here to the Netherlands and decided to study medicine in Dutch, which is, borderline crazy. Because medicine is not the easiest subject to study
in your own language.
Exactly, nor does it use the most simple terms.
Yeah.
Right. So that's pretty impressive to me. So let's talk about your growing up in Cameroon.
Yeah.
Right. Born and raised, went to high school there.
Went to university there for 6 months.
Yeah, because I checked out your LinkedIn. Right.
Okay.
Right. And it said something about you going for, I think, 1 year or something like that to pursuing your bachelor's in computer science.
Yeah, computer sciences.
And that was it directly after high school?
Yeah.
And then, so that means that you were still in the process, right, of AI.
Yeah.
And then you... how was it back then? You go to university for computer science.
Yeah.
And then how long did you stay in there?
For 6 months, because I pretty much knew I was going to come to the Netherlands. And in Cameroon, of course, just because I knew I would get away with that, I told everyone I was going to do medicine.
Okay.
With the plan of coming to Europe and switching to artificial intelligence. So then in Cameroon, I was like, okay, I don't want to apply for the medical schools there because that's what I told people. Because I'm trying to give the spot to other people who would stay there longer. Because if I get into medical school, which I knew I would most like to get into, and it's very competitive as it is everywhere else, if I got in, then I'll have to leave after a few months because I knew I was going to come to the Netherlands.
Right.
And then I would have taken a spot for someone, from someone who would have become a doctor in Cameroon and stuff like that. So that was the backstory I used. And also with computer science, because I went to boarding school in Cameroon for 8 years and we didn't have computers and phones in school, I feel like that would be a drawback for me if I came to Europe and did not acquaint myself with the technology and stuff. So that was for me the inner motive
Right.
The outer motive was just what I told people was just to waste time so I can prepare myself for Europe. But within me was like, okay, I might as well just do this to prepare myself for AI, one, and two, to also just get used to computers. So I can have so I'm up to the standard when I come to Europe. So the Europeans are. So I was like, I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up. So yeah, that was.
So what's the connection with the Netherlands then? Because you said then you already knew that you were going to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Like where is that connection?
I have family here, so I was obviously going to come meet family.
Okay, but you also have family elsewhere.
Yeah, in a lot of places. But it was just for me. It would be cheaper here. For example, say because I got a scholarship to Germany. But for that, I would have to pay 11,000 euros.
For the medical school?
Not for medical school. For just like it was a freshman program, so which helps integrate you into the German system. So then I would do that as preparation for whatever I was going to do afterwards.
Right.
But then for that, it was 11,000.
Okay.
And then America as well, I got a scholarship, but that was the tuition fee in total was 23,000, right?
Yeah.
And I would get like 13,000 off. So eventually I would still have to pay something around 10,000. But in the Netherlands, that would be my tuition fee for 5 years.
Right.
Because I paid 2K a year. So that was like, nah.
But did you get a scholarship for the Netherlands?
No, because I didn't apply before coming. I came to join family and then afterwards I went to school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had some time on my own with no pressure to integrate myself and do all the other stuff to get used to the Dutch society.
But that's crazy, right? Because official languages in Cameroon are English and French, right? Yeah. And then you grew up speaking
English and Pidgin
with your family.
Yeah.
Okay, but then when you went to boarding school, that was all in English?
That was all in English, yeah. We had days where we were supposed to speak French, but it wasn't an English region. It was in the English region of the country, so of course not everyone can speak French. So they had people who were just silent the whole day, but most of the time you speak English. One day a week you had to speak French.
Okay. But then you were like your second mother tongue practically English.
Yeah.
Right? And then you decide not to go to the US because it was too expensive. Back then, did you already have family in like UK?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
But that also wasn't.
That wasn't expensive. That was expensive.
That was
an
okay.
option.
And then you decided to come to the Netherlands because it was the most feasible financially. And like the language didn't bother you. Like you were just.
No, I was excited to learn the language actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was. I think it's something. So among my friends, we get very excited to go to Europe, to go to the States and stuff like that, just because of what we see on TV and all that kind of stuff. And learning a language for us is just like, especially because we have people who have gone before and learned the language. And although it's a hassle to learn any language, but they make it seem like it's not a hassle. They're like, yeah, we just learned the language in a couple of months and we're fine. So then a lot of us are excited to go there and speak this language on camera, like Snapchat, just speaking another language. Like, what did you say? All those kind of things. So I was excited to come to the language actually.
Really? Okay.
And I started learning the language a little bit in Cameroon, just like downloading books and stuff. So during university,
right?
I was doing university and kind of getting a few words in. Yeah.
Okay, and then tell me the timeline, right? So you graduate high school,
2015.
2015. Then you go to university, or
2015. So I graduated July. I finished my final exams July, or June 2015. Start university. November 2015, because we start later.
Right.
November 2015, and then that goes up to April or March 2016 when I leave.
Okay, so you leave April 2016.
I leave March and then I arrive April. So I left on the last day of March.
Okay. So you arrive here April 2016. University starts in September.
2016.
Right.
Yeah. But of course, for medical school, you have to apply a while later. But then I was planning to apply for artificial intelligence. So then I was looking at that and trying to apply, but then the deadlines had already passed for all of them.
Oh, really? So you're still looking at it?
I was looking at it.
So you still hadn't made up your mind, really?
No, not really. No. When I came here, I told people I was going to study medicine, but in my head, I was still looking at artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then would you say kind of last minute spontaneous to switch to medicine?
No, I don't think it wasn't spontaneous in the sense of I had a lot of time to prepare for the application of medicine. So because I came in April, right? And the deadlines for medical applications, or most applications, that start in September. I think had already passed, if I'm not mistaken, or the ones that had numerous fixes.
Yeah.
Right. But of course, I was looking for AI, and there was no bachelor for AI. So in that sense, it was easy for me to switch to medicine.
Okay.
Because then I had to have made my choice.
Right.
And then from then on, when I saw there was no bachelors, then I was like, okay, let's go medicine now. And then it took me time because the applications went open October of 2016. Yeah.
Okay.
So that you start applying in October. So of course you have from April to October.
Okay.
To prepare. So you got to think about it and look for alternatives to us to still sneak into AI, but there's nothing. So it's like, okay, we're doing medicine.
Okay, and then you start medicine finally. Then the next year.
So September of 2017.
Right. Okay, and then what about the language schedule? Right, like from when to when did you start learning Dutch?
Yeah, so it's especially when you come from a country like Cameroon, the Netherlands doesn't really have that many ties with Cameroon. So for example, stuff like integration, like you have to get it's Europe, so everything goes systematically. You come and you have to get a number, a social service number or whatever. So you get that, it takes like a month to get that. And then you have to get yourself registered in the council. It takes a while to get that. So all those things took a while, right? If it was up to me, I'll just come, boom, the next day I'll start language school because I was like, okay, if I'm going to be living with you guys, I'm going to learn how to communicate with you guys.
Yeah.
So because of all these things, it took me a while to actually apply for language school. I was doing small jobs, trying to keep myself busy with basketball, getting to know a few people, exposing myself. But I only started language school in August.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's when there was a spot for me, and that's when I had gotten everything in order, which permitted me, because I also had to apply for a loan to study because it's 10K to study language. Wow. Whoa. 10K to study a language.
That.
I did not expect that. Whoa. Of course, I have to take a loan for that because my pockets are not that deep.
Right.
So then that took a while to apply for the loan, to get it approved and everything. So then I eventually ended up starting in August. So then I started the language like actively studying grammar and stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, throughout this period, I'd been exposing myself to news, although I wasn't understanding anything. I just exposed myself to get the feel of it.
Right. Yeah. And then how long is language school?
Language school is normally, so it's 3 months for every module. So normally it takes 4 modules. 3. How many is that? 3 times 4.
12.
Good. Yeah, it's 12 months. So normally it takes, it's 6 months per module. Yeah, that's it. It's 6 months a module, so normally it takes 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you did the 2 years?
No. So I picked up stuff faster because I had exposed myself. I looked up a few words, and I think my brain is on average, it's above average, so it functions properly. Right?
Picks up stuff more.
It picks up stuff more. So in the beginning, I was going for the 6 months, but then my tutors noticed I was picking up stuff fast, so they agreed, okay, we'll go 3 months for every module instead. So I was going to get it for 1 year instead of 2 years.
Yeah.
But then stuff happened and I had to fast forward it again.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So in total, when did you finish language school?
I took exams in April. So August,
September.
No, I started at the end of August. September, October, November, December, January, February, March. I think it was the beginning of April, so it was March. So in total, like 8 months. But there was vacation in between. So like 1 month was off, I think. So in total, it was like 7 months, I think, before I took the exam.
And after that, there was no more additional Dutch courses until you started medicine?
That was what you needed for medicine. So there's like other Dutch courses if you want to like...
Oh, it wasn't like a medicine Dutch course?
No. So like, okay, there's different levels, right? There's the language itself. So like the Dutch as second language. Then there's one to help you with orientation in the labor market in the Netherlands. There's another one to give you an idea of the social and cultural history and just knowledge of the Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
So those are other exams, but then for medical school or for university in general, you just need the language part. So yeah, but I just did everything because I would not have time with my medical degree to focus on that.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, maybe this is important. I switched to do it faster because I wanted to get into medical school, and I knew I was applying for an English track. But then speaking Dutch would increase my chances of getting in. Because the Dutch, for the English track, there was like 45 spots. But the Dutch, there was like 300 and something. So I was like, 1+1 is 2. If you speak English and Dutch, you have a higher chance of getting in. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that, because I wasn't gonna take any chance with medicine.
Right.
Because I don't think if I didn't get in the first year, I would still have the motivation to do it again the second time.
Okay.
That was the tricky part.
And then when you finally got into medical school, right? During the first couple of months, did you feel like the language course was enough, or did you feel like you should have done more?
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, no. Because, the first thing is, it's a new culture. I know nobody in the city, because I moved to cities as well. And it's like hardcore Dutch, like these people are Dutch.
Yeah,
like you don't
native.
They're native. They speak. They speak the language, and as a system of Maastricht University is problem based, so you have mostly of discussions.
Yeah.
You have lectures, but it's mostly about the discussions you have. And you can imagine, I've been speaking this language effectively for how long? Not even effectively.
Like not
just
even
often,
a year.
for like not even a year, like 6 months. And it should be told, no one can learn a language fluently in 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, it's possible if you're superhuman, but I don't think an average person can learn it that fast and be like fluent in it.
Right. Yeah.
So I understood. My understanding was much better than my speaking. But speaking was something I had to do. And I noticed it was really tricky for me to do that.
Yeah.
I was just spitting bars, just spitting words, and people had to figure it out. But the further I went, the better it became. But in the beginning, it was very, 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 very tough to study this thing in English, translate it to Dutch, then translate it back to English for your own understanding, then translate it again to Dutch to be able to share with the other classmates.
Yeah.
So that was very tricky in the beginning.
I think the cracking point, I think, is if you learn a new language, it's like this thing where you don't have to translate it back and forth again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, where you can think in that
Exactly.
language. Yeah. That's
like when would you say that point came for you?
In the second year, I think. In the second year, I think at the point when I stopped trying to please people with the language, I stopped trying to be perfect with the language. I accepted my flaws the way they came. That moment for me was like, okay, I'm allowed to make errors, and then from then onwards, it was like, I make errors, I learn from them, and I'm open to that. So that for me was a point where I was like, okay, at this point, I don't care anymore. And I stopped being a hindrance to myself, and then it just flew from there, and then flowed from there, and then I started becoming more confident, and then the language just got better, and then my thinking also switched.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Like once in a while I still think in English, but normally if I'm in a Dutch setting, like my studies for example, I think in full on Dutch.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, because I remember I've never heard you speak Dutch until we were
in Amsterdam.
When you gave the speech, right? After you won this the prize award thing.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine who was also Dutch, Robin.
Yeah.
Right. He said that how good your Dutch was, and how it was like much better than he expected.
Yeah.
Right. So then I was like, man, he can really speak Dutch. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I think that was like a moment where, in that moment in Amsterdam, there was a dilemma whether or not to speak English or Dutch, because English they would have no problem with English because it's an international organization. But for me, it was like, I want to push myself, and I just found myself speaking in Dutch. So it was like, that was one of the moments I was like, because it was the first time I gave a speech in Dutch, apart from presentations in class. Yeah, I don't give that many presentations in Dutch. So I was like, let me just try it and see what it feels like. Big moves, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so this whole transition from the Cameroons to the Netherlands, I think, is one thing that I really want to stress also for you people out there who maybe are thinking about making this transition, right? Studying in a foreign country where you don't know the language, right? Be it Spanish or whatever. So this big move, how was it for you in terms of your environment, like friends and family, right? Did you have any problems? Like, where did you decide to go to a foreign country to study, or was it your recommendation of, for example, your mom, your dad?
No, I decided.
And like, why?
I wanted to. I think I've always been fascinated about Europe and the States and stuff like that. Because at one point, I know At one point, an uncle of mine wanted to stop me from coming because
Really?
he said I'll be better off if I study in the country. Like there's everything mapped out for me, study medicine and stuff like that in the country, and then when I want to specialize, I can go abroad, right? But I was so tuned and wired to going to Europe, I couldn't see
Where did this
myself.
come from?
Just fascination about Europe, what we see on TV.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just that I just wanted to, and I guess white people too.
It's so interesting, right?
Oh man, I was fascinated by white people. When I saw white people, I was like, "What? Who are you?"
I have
But
to study you guys.
I know, right? But yeah, that was. I wanted to come here. It was my choice to come here.
And what about like your parents? What did they think?
Yeah, well, my dad was not in the picture.
Right.
But then in Cameroon, it's not really, except for some exceptions, it's not really an issue. You coming, because I know I have friends here who live other places to come study here, and they're like, man, it was so hard leaving my family back.
Yeah.
It was so hard leaving my friends back. Oh, we don't have those things.
Oh, you don't have those things?
No, we just you have to do what you have to do. If you're going there to study hard and make a better future for yourself, that's what you have to do. Everyone automatically understands what you have to do. So no one wants you to stay. No one is like, oh, my friend. Nah.
Except your uncle.
Except my uncle. But then that's the exceptions. Then.
Okay.
Yeah, exceptions like people who want their kids to stay in the country and stuff like that. But generally, people want their kids to go abroad.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it wasn't really a struggle. I mean, I had friends and it was sad, but
Yeah.
people kind of knew we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah.
If he was the friend in my position, they would want to go as well. So it's like,
Okay, that's a pretty good boost then.
Yeah.
Right, this culture.
yeah, because it's not saddening to leave.
But is that something in Cameroon or the part where you grew up where a lot of people go abroad, or is that just like this understanding? Yes, like you do what you gotta do, but most people stay, where the roots are.
A lot of people want to, but not everyone gets the opportunity to.
Right.
So that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if everyone got the opportunity, I feel like a lot more people would leave.
Yeah.
But not everyone has the opportunity to leave.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have this incredible support environment. Then in Cameroon, right, everybody is okay with, or everybody supports you in, going abroad and pursuing the thing that you set yourself out to do. And then you come here, you live with your aunt and uncle, I suppose?
My family, yeah.
Right. And then, because you said you moved cities and it was hard, making friends, new language, new culture. I would find that really a little bit of demotivating, right? Because you come here, everything's new, and you're kind of by yourself,
Yeah.
right? How did you feel?
It was I think it was a hard blow in the beginning, especially because I had this picture of Europe and America and how college life is. College life.
Like, are you talking American college life?
Yeah, that's what we saw, right? So I kind of generalized a little bit.
Okay.
Oops. But so I was like, you come here, you're hanging out like every day with friends, you just chill at the university, people come and talk to you, all these kind of things, So that's a picture I had. So I was like, I'm coming here. And then in Dordrecht, where I lived before, like up north in the Netherlands, I had a few friends who interacted with me in basketball and stuff like that, a few parties.
Was that like Dutch friends?
Dutch friends.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was like, they try to speak English for me because most Dutch people speak English. But I was like, okay, when I move down for university, it's going to be much better because then I'm just going to have friends like boop, boop, boop every day. Making a new friend every day because I also like having friends like that. Then I moved down and reality hit. Yeah, first week, people making friends, tricky. Second week, I don't have no friends and stuff like that. That was a hard one for me to swallow.
Okay.
Because I'm the kind of person I'm used to having friends around, hanging out, chilling, just laughing. But then that wasn't there. And then on top of that, I had the stress of studying in a different language and feeling like I'm underperforming at something which I know I should be performing well because of the language. I'm being hindered.
Yeah.
So a combination of all these things is like, that's normally my support system, family, friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My family was not with me. So then it kind of still felt distant because I had to go to school the whole day and then I'm back home and then I'm tired and all this kind of thing. So I can't be on the phone for long. So all these factors kind of played a role. But for me, it was a hard blow in the beginning.
Right.
Coping the whole social system and friends and all whatnot.
I can imagine. And I imagine also that's probably the first 2 weeks having trouble making friends is probably the combination of culture and language.
Yeah.
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 And then how do you, because now you have, all sorts of friends, you mastered the language.
Quite a few.
Yeah. How did you, so you're in this pit, right, where the reality doesn't match your expectations at all, right? And now you kind of have you have to find your courage to dig yourself out of this, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just quitting and maybe saying, okay, maybe I would be better off in Cameroon.
Yeah.
Right. So what got you out of that?
I think it was a combination of things. It was a combination of factors, right? Because of course I didn't have friends. That sounded so sad, but it was a combination. I think of two major things, right? One is I'm religious, so I believe God definitely had a role to play in this, a big role to play in this. And second, I just believe the mindset I had developed in Cameroon definitely played a role as well. Because I was the kind of person that always, when I want to achieve something, I go above and beyond for that thing. So when I see myself in a down place, and because I'm also very self-aware, I can easily recognize I'm underperforming, for example. I mean, I'm a worse critic too, but then I can easily distinguish between when I'm criticizing myself and when I'm just really underperforming. So I think it was a combination of the fact that I was aware something was off.
Right.
Like when I was down and feeling like things were not moving, I was aware that was happening. But then I had God to support me to pull myself out because I knew it's somewhere I didn't want to be for long.
Yeah.
So then a combination of my mindset and my self-awareness and just God helping me with everything helped me pull myself out easily. Not easily, but
eventually.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. They always say the first step in solving a problem is admitting there
is a problem.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And there was obviously a problem.
Right. Okay. And then did you ever think about, or did you ever doubt this decision? Like in these first few weeks to say like, hey, was this the right move to move here? Would it be better if I went, to the States, if I stayed in Cameroon? Or was the, like those types of thoughts?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
No?
Because no matter how hard it is, because I'm very self-aware, I'm a very, what's the word for that? No, I think grateful. I'm very grateful for what I have. So because I know I'm here and I know a lot of people want to be here, I have a bigger boost to make it work.
Okay.
So then I never feel like, oh, I shouldn't be here and stuff like that because I know how many people want to be here, but they cannot be here. So then I just see that as a challenge to get better and adapt to a new system. Because life's all about change, right? Like you always meet new environments or new situations. And I think a true test is how you adapt to the situations. So I was willing to take it as a challenge to work on rather than complain about it.
Okay, fair. I think that's a good mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, definitely a lot of people are scared to make these drastic changes in their life, right? Because the amount of work that comes with it. Yeah. Right? It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's hard. You cannot tell anybody that it's
going to be easy. No, that's a lie. That is a big lie. Yeah.
But I think a lot of people just think that they will not be able to cope, with all this, all these lemons thrown at them where they have to make lemonade from, right? If you want to say it like that. You studied, right? New language, but you also worked on the side, right? To, financially keep yourself afloat, which is even native speakers who study sometimes don't work on the side, right? Which is then crazy for you. Like, how do you, it's a dumb question to ask how you work so hard. But like, what I'm saying? Like, where does this come from? We all have the same 24-hour day, right? And you seem to get a lot done during these 24 hours.
Yeah.
Do you have, do you say it's because of my routine? Is it,
I have no routine.
You have no routine? Are you a believer in a routine or?
I'm a believer in routine. I'm a bigger believer in, not a believer, but I value spontaneity more. So I like being able to, maneuver my way around things. I like flexibility.
Yeah.
So if I plan something, boom, 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 and something comes up, I want to be able to say, okay, I can do this and not regret because my routine is messed up.
Okay, yeah.
So I plan stuff, but I'm up for flexibility.
Okay. But then, did you feel like when you were studying that, did you ever feel like overwhelmed? With
everything happening?
Yeah.
In the beginning, no.
No.
Just after a few years, when certain things happened, that shook me a little bit. Then I felt overwhelmed. But in the beginning, with the work and study and language and stuff like that, there were two things that helped me. I knew where I came from, and I knew what I was capable of. Right? Because I had a very peculiar mindset on a lot of things. So I knew where I came from. As in, for example, the people who work and who study here, who are native Dutch, study and don't work, they probably have parents with deep pockets, right? Because to be fair, most medical students.
Right.
But I knew where I came from, and my parents cannot afford to give me 500 euros every month or something like that. So I know I had to do something for myself, or at least if I wanted to have a comfortable life, which I knew I could have. So then that is me know where I came from, and the things also, like I told you, I know I came from somewhere where a lot of people want to be where I am today. Right. So then that always keeps me grateful and alert and, just thankful for what I have. But then knowing what I'm capable of as well is something which I have seen myself go through tougher situations in the past.
Okay.
It's different here because of course your support system is different, the culture is different, it's more individualistic, people are always for themselves, and these are things which in the long run might backfire if you're not aware of the environment you were in. Because you can take yourself as you were in Cameroon and try to be yourself here, but the environment is not receptive to that you.
Yeah.
So if you're not aware of that, it might easily lead to burnout and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which probably at one point was the case with me. But it's this kind of things play a role. You know who you are, you know what you're capable of. But because I'm so self-aware as well, along the way, I noticed, okay, the way you are is not going to work here per se. You have to make a few adjustments.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think, so being grateful for what you have, right? Mm-hmm. Being self-aware of what is happening around you and within yourself. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, being self-confident enough
to know what you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then obviously having God as a guidance, I think, is a big plus because you just know that eventually things gonna go
exactly it's gonna there's always a plan. He has a plan, right? So it's a tough time, but eventually you make it out. And that degree of it's like an anchor. That degree of it just gives you an extra layer to your confidence.
Right. Interesting. Pretty cool. So then now that you finished your bachelor's in medical school, I kind of want to talk about medical school misconceptions, right? So that people can, if they decide to pursue a medical degree like you are, what to expect. And then you can give your kind of 2 cents and your thoughts, right, on these statements. So statement number 1 that I have here is you have to be super smart to succeed in medical school. Right? A lot of people are afraid that they're just not smart enough to compete when they get to medical school. Yeah.
No, I don't think that's the case. No, I disagree. It's just, I think medical school is about hard work. You have to put in the hours. If you do not put in the hours, there's ways to pass your exams, but there's no other ways to be a good doctor. Yeah. And I think those are two, if we're trying to talk about this, then we have to make a divide between that. Because some people just pass exams. There's a lot of summaries out there and stuff that can help you pass these exams. Yeah. But are you trying to become a good doctor? Because you're going to be in charge of patients. So then the goal should be becoming a good doctor. And for that, you have to put in the hours. Because it's a lot of work. Studying this whole body, studying just this guy in here, is a lot of hours.
I can imagine.
So you got to put in the work. So I think it's not a matter of intelligence. Definitely, I think there's some level of intelligence that permits you to understand this stuff. But generally, that should also be average. But if you put in the hard work and the hours to learn this stuff, then I think you should be fine in med school.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Especially European med schools where you have more, it's more spread out.
Really?
You know, America, you can do a law degree
Right.
and then go into med school for 4 years. But then technically it's the first 2 years that are like packed with work, like knowledge,
okay.
and then the last 2 are like rotations,
okay.
stuff like
Yeah, I
that.
didn't know
But then in Europe, you have 3 years full on, no, not really full on, but mostly like learning the stuff, reading the books and all whatnot. You have a few practicals here and there, depending on the university.
Yeah.
But then 3 years of practicing. So it's more spread out. So then it's more relaxed
Okay.
in a way. But it's still medical school, so you still have to put in the hours.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's cool. And then I think then it goes hand in hand with that people who go to med school should be prepared to, you know, give some all-nighters and do some all-nighters.
Yeah. I think that's definitely something which is maybe more pronounced in the States because it's more, in my opinion, it is more pressing in the States. Just because it's also more compressed, you have to get a lot of stuff done in a short amount of time. But even the way it's in the European system, people attend parties once, twice a week, medical students, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is to say they're putting in less hours for their schoolwork. I just think the European system of medical school, at least the European system, gives room for you to be more than just a doctor.
To like socialize more.
To socialize more.
Okay.
But then you can still, depending on how you plan your time,
Yeah.
you can still have a social life, go out at night, and spend hours studying as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was the cool thing for me because I expect the medical school to be like boom, 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 boom. Don't get me wrong. At one point, it gets like that, especially if you cannot plan properly. Ooh, you got it coming for you. But I think there is space in the system to do some other stuff and not just be focused on your books 24/7.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then, so what about this? This next one is going to medical school or studying medicine, right? Is like your regular study plus studying a new language because you have Latin and Greek terms, right? Anatomy wise and all the names.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I think too, you know, like from what I hear.
Yeah. You know, when you said studying a new language, I thought you were talking about my Dutch.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
that's only you.
That's only.
yeah.
But tricky. I mean, it is a part of the process.
Yeah. I mean, you would know best what it feels like to study a new language, right?
Yeah, true. But then the thing is, I also did Latin in high school.
Okay.
So then for me, some of the terms they were familiar.
Right.
But then it's a lot of terms, let me put it that way. It's a lot of new terms you have to learn and stuff like that. But let's say you're not taking a whole new language course.
Yeah.
You're just getting a few words here and there. And also in Dutch, for example, and I think in English, they have the English variants of these names.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, at the end of the day, you have to know
the language.
right?
Yeah, you have to know that thing as well.
So how what's the term here? Not how persistent, but like how much forward is this learning of new vocabulary?
Tricky. I don't know. I'm having a hard time picturing this because I mean it's only for anatomy, right?
Yeah.
It's only terms and not
I mean,
really. No,
medications.
Medications
right.
as well. There's a lot of
Diseases.
There is a lot of Latin involved. Yeah. True. And I think if you want to do it well properly, you have to know those things. Indeed, that is true. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to say my medical school is not tricky. Okay, let me say it this way. It is definitely a step forward. Like it's not just any regular person learning words, because sometimes you have to understand what these words mean to be able to use them in different scenarios, different settings and stuff like that. But it's not like a main language. So you don't need to like be able to construct full sentences, for example, and stuff like that. So you just need to know the words, what they mean, and try to like maybe link a few words and stuff like that to make sense of some stuff. But it's not, I would not say I've had the challenge of feeling like I want to learn a whole new language just because I study anatomy in Latin.
Okay.
because I do love anatomy and I do know a lot of these names, but sometimes it's fun to know these names, and other times the names just really look like English names. So I'm like,
Oh yeah.
so you have like the deltoid muscle,
Right.
deltoid
I was like,
deus. Like, okay, I don't know why deus is at the end, like it's no god, but okay, cool. It's just sometimes it's fun and the words are similar. So I'm like, okay, I don't feel the pressure of an extra language. I'll say it that way.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So now, after 3 years of med school, right? After you've been through your whole journey, right? After having done your bachelor, what did you expect, and what did you not expect?
Yeah. For medical school then.
Yeah, for medical school in a different country, right?
Yeah.
Now being Europe and Netherlands, obviously.
Yeah. So what I expected, let me start with maybe what I expected. I think, or at least my medical school has by far superseded my expectations.
Really?
Yeah. My medical school has, because right from year one, you have patient consultations. I mean, they are simulated patients, but still you get the feel of what it takes to be a doctor. These patients play their role so well. Sometimes you get lost in the fact that you're actually playing a role, and you start feeling stuff, and you start, so it gives you a feel of what the interaction is. It's some practicality, and that is only with the patient consultation part. You also have like the practicality with you actually learning tests and getting practical knowledge, and always trying to like couple what you learn to practical situations. And I think for me, coming from a culture where mostly theory is stamped into your head, it was a new dynamic for me.
Okay.
And I enjoyed the dynamic because I had a problem solution mindset, or I developed a problem solution mindset where I would easily, because I had so much knowledge and I had more skills when it comes to looking at problems and identifying solutions. I was able to even think back to Cameroon and be like, okay, this is an obvious problem we have, and there is an easy solution. And then think of why it's not implemented yet, and think of how you can implement it. For example, the project I started and stuff like that on CPR, it just flowed from this mindset of, I have knowledge now, I have a problem solution mindset, let me look for a solution to problems identified. Right. So it's like by far, that is one of the main things I've gotten so far from medical school. I'm like, the knowledge I get, I see how I can put it into practice.
Okay.
And that is something I did not expect this early in medical school.
To gain.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other things?
Stuff I expected. Just I think the regular stuff in med school. At one point it gets challenging. At one point you have to do all-nighters.
But you expected that?
Yeah, I kind of expected that low key.
Yeah.
What I did not expect, is tricky. There's no hierarchy. In a sense.
In what sense?
Oh, this is very low key. So I went to the cafe at the hospital cafe or whatever. Yeah. Where all the hospital personnel dine, right? And like students, the canteen, and students and all whatnot are permitted there. And I saw surgeons sitting there, like I saw directors sitting there, and I'm just walking by them. If I wanted, I could potentially sit on the table. It would just be a little awkward with all these people there, But I had access to them. I could see them. I could touch them. And you address them with their first names. You call lecturers by their first names. Really, yeah. Just in Cameroon, you don't call a lecturer by his first name. No, you call Mr. This person. Right. And you call it slowly to show the respect. But then people just like, Thomas, Yanti. I'm like, what? I know till today I haven't still adapted. I have difficulties calling people by their first name, especially when I know they're high up in my head. Yeah. Like neurosurgeons or all these people. I'm like, I'm not gonna call you by your first name. No, I give you some respect. I know the amount of work you've put into this. But that's something I definitely did not expect. Fair. Yeah, I did not expect. I don't know what I think about that now. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just know it's nice. It makes people more approachable. Things are you can easily learn stuff from them because they're more open to like receiving questions from you directly. So I think it's nice, but I don't know if I have a complete opinion about the lack of hierarchy. Yeah. It's a tricky subject.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Cool. And then, what did I want to say?
What did you want to say?
I wanted to say how train of thought just
flew off the window.
yeah, just flew off the window, man. Let me gather my thoughts again. I wanted to talk about work-life balance.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because we talked about how you go to medical school, right? Now you're familiar with the language, right? But back then it was still something new to learn and a struggle. You work on the side, right? You have your social life, and you also have extracurricular activities, right? For example, with the basketball associations, which we both played for, that's how we got to know each other. You eventually ended up in the board, right, as treasurer. Then you already mentioned your CPR project that you were doing between here and Cameroon, right? How do you juggle those things? You know, it's like a lot for a regular person to keep. You know, it's already a lot. Only university to keep in your head, right?
Yeah.
Now you have like 4, 5, 6 more things to juggle in your mind. It could drive you crazy. You know, like you were already mentioning, kind of like this burnout sensation.
Yeah.
Is there any, after these 3 years now, is there any kind of, not recipe, but methodology that you have worked out on how to balance those things in your life?
Yeah. I think a lot is possible if you just manage your time well. I was going to say plan your time, but then again, I said I don't believe in schedules and all of that, so that's tricky. But if you just manage your time well, so if you know you have to hang out with friends for the whole weekend, then you're not going to leave schoolwork till the weekend to get done. You know, all these kind of things. I feel like I was not the best at time management before, and that is potentially why I also felt the burnout sensation in the beginning, not towards the end, even though the workload got more towards the end, but like the farther I went. But the more I actually took like proper time management courses, learned how to plan stuff better, or not plan stuff better, or if I wanted to be more free flowing for a day or stuff like that, I made sure everything I had to get done was done before that. So this kind of idea of, okay, you can do a lot if you just manage your time properly. That is what sustains me without me falling into burnouts again.
Right.
Let me say it that way.
Okay.
And I have a good support system too. So if like friends, family and stuff. So if anything goes wrong, people talk to me about it, I can bounce back easily. And I'm someone, sometimes I need that. I just need people to remind me of what I can do. Yeah. You know, sometimes people remind me and sometimes people tell me, okay, you have to take it easy. And I try to find the balance in between.
Yeah, definitely. No, so, I think that's very important. So I think, time management, right? So knowing what has to be done when. And I guess also for you, maybe self-explanatory, but like the self-discipline to do that. Yeah. Right? Because I know you often also, you know, you like to put sleep on the side and, you know, get the stuff done that you need to get done.
Quite controversial how I want to be a neurosurgeon, but I don't believe in sleep. But yeah, I think it's something I grew up with, something boarding school also like instilled in me. I could go days without proper sleep. But the further I go, the more I realize how important it is. Yeah? Yeah.
Okay, because I remember a couple of months ago, you didn't sleep much. You slept like some hours during the day and then some during the night.
Yeah. I mean, I don't sleep 8 hours a day. That is just over.
That's too much.
That's too much. You could use that time more judiciously. But I try to get at least 6 hours at night, and I siesta during the day. So I sleep like 1 hour during the day as well.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
I believe in sleep now more.
Let's see if that increases as the years go by. I have the feeling it will.
I hope not. I don't think it will, no.
No, but I also think it's yes, you need your sleep, but I also think that now that you're young, you know,
there's room to not sleep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So then
your body can adapt.
You can get more done. Yeah, I agree to that. Right. So now that we're, you know, in the present here, you know, we're sitting. You are doing well now, university. you're on your way to becoming a neurosurgeon. What are your long-term goals in life now as you stand here?
Yeah.
Now, you already talked about the project that you're doing, raising awareness for CPR in Cameroon.
Yeah.
I think
it's going to spread eventually, but the epicenter is Cameroon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see what the future hold. Ooh, the thing is, in my head, I feel like I'm a hot pot of ideas, but it's just the execution that requires more time and thought and stuff like that with me. So I think definitely the first goal is to be able to channel my ideas into a reality. That is the first long-term goal, because I know I have a lot of ideas. So I have the CPR project. I'm currently a counselor for Mentally Aware Nigeria, so promoting mental health in Nigeria, hopefully being able to spread that to Cameroon, for example, because mental health is something everyone we need it. Like, we just need to pay more attention to mental health, because without mental health, there is no physical health. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. Like, if your brain is not functioning optimally, your body cannot function optimally. Because literally every single thing you do, everything you do is controlled by your brain.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, if your brain is not optimal, then nothing else can be optimal. You know, and I feel like people don't understand this concept enough to want to take care of their mental health. So that's something I also want to pay attention to. And just in the long term, being a doctor who's actually there for your patients. I don't need to be the smartest doctor. That is not my goal. Not necessarily. I don't think that is very important to me right now.
Okay.
I just want to be the most effective at providing the care my patients need.
Yeah.
So the patient comes to me with a complicated whatever, cancer or whatever. I know that patient has cancer, but then there might also be other needs. The patient needs, like, attention.
Yeah.
You know, he might be in a terrible mental state or whatever, or there might be some other stuff, right? Just the care he gets from a doctor. You know, some people know what has to be done. They know cancer, boom, 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 let's give this course. But some people take the time for the patient. They're actually there for the patient. You know, they make the patient feel like
the patient rather than the disease.
Yeah,
the patient.
Exactly. Yeah. That's one good way to put it. Yeah, I want to be there for the patient. Wow. Okay, cool. I'm gonna frame that in my room. I want to be there for the patient rather than the disease. Yeah, that's it. Because I'm a very people-oriented person.
Right.
Yeah, I like to be able to help people. So I feel like that's one of my big long-term goals. In terms of neurosurgery, I am fascinated by the brain.
Right.
I just cannot understand how this organ can control all of this. When it fails, everything just goes wrong. So I think I want to do more with that. Research-wise, there's a lot of unexplored territory in Africa and stuff like that, research-wise. I want to be able to do more stuff with that. Healthcare in Africa is at a level where I think it can be better.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do something with that. But first, I want to make sure I'm a doctor for the people and not for the disease, and then grow from there. But I think my future has a lot of opportunities, and I'm definitely not limiting myself to just being a doctor and working for a hospital or whatever. I am open to possibilities, for example, of opening my own hospital, directing my own things, being the director of medical schools, all these kind of things. I think there's a lot of potential which I can explore, and I'm going to explore them. Okay. So I think there's definitely, it's exciting for me.
Big things are coming.
There's big things coming, yeah. It sometimes frightens me how big these things are in my head, but I know it's possible. I don't know where that thought comes from, but I just know most of the stuff are possible.
But I think, that's like the first step of getting somewhere big is to dream big.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so for the people there who have been listening now, right, all about med school, what would you say is your favorite thing about medical school until now?
I think it's just how close the knowledge is. You study about finance or business and all what, and you have to go to the market for that, right? You have to be in a financial environment. Yeah. I'm just here. Like in my anatomy exams, I'm practicing, I'm looking at my muscles and I'm flexing and I'm doing all these things because you can legit see what you practice. Yeah. Now with some, it's more than others. You can imagine if you're studying muscles, orthopedics and stuff like that, it's more. But if you're doing the brain, it's tricky, but you can still see the manifestations of the brain. right?
Yeah.
So for me, the coolest part of med school is how close this knowledge is and how
It applies to everybody.
It applies to everybody.
Right.
You can practice what you learn, and you can also see differences really close to you. Like obviously, we can all see I have more melanin than you do.
Fair.
Right.
I think so too.
Yeah, you think so too, right? Exactly. So this is a really cool concept, which I think with medical school or with medicine, you don't need to go far for that. Like you have the practical of your knowledge most of the time right next to you. For me, that's the coolest part of med school.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I studied business.
Exactly. You studied business.
I studied business. Yeah, sometimes, like when you say, hey, like big corporations, they, do this and this and this.
Yeah.
Like,
where? Exactly.
So I can definitely relate to that.
And you can also testify to how many times I've had to practice on you.
Yeah, definitely. Like
listen to your heart or lungs, reflex exactly.
Yeah,
so those kind of things are very, so, and you find that cool.
Yeah,
so you can imagine how I find that.
Yeah.
So I think, that is definitely the most fascinating thing for me.
That is super cool. All right. Well, my friend, it's been such a pleasure having you on this podcast.
Oh, it's been
I think we covered like a lot of valuable stuff in this thing. And I hope you guys also find that valuable from, our conversation now, me and Hillmann and his experiences, because I definitely, gained some insights that I didn't even know about you.
I can tell you didn't know.
Yeah. It was crazy. And that's why I like doing this, right? But, that's what this podcast is all about. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Before we wrap things up, I want to, give you an opportunity to talk to the audience one last time and kind of tell them like what you have going on in your life right now, coming into the future, how they can contact you or, see you on social media or whatever if they like to, and just any last pieces of advice that you want to throw out there for all the young Padawans who are coming up now.
Yeah, what did you say, Padawans? Oh, whatever that word means. Okay. But I think, like I already said, like my advice to anyone, for example, who's going into medical school, I think this is the better way to go. Of course, we always need the scientists who are more about the disease than the people. But I feel like a good doctor should at least, on a basic level, be for the people,
right,
before being for the disease.
Yeah,
like a practicing doctor. So definitely that's the first piece of advice. Try to be for the people and not just for the disease. Like I said, I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about people with less opportunities being able to get the healthcare they need, especially because of my background and stuff. I can see how people die every day, heart attacks, all these kind of things when we have CPR. But people don't know, people are not aware of how CPR can help these things. Yeah. So I am really passionate about bringing these basic solutions to people who don't know about these solutions. Because for CPR, you basically don't need anything. You just need to be there. Yeah. If you get fancy, you need extra machines to shock and all whatnot. Right, but on the most basic level, you can do it without extra stuff. And it's like people just don't know these things are that helpful. So I'm really passionate about doing stuff like this, bringing basic solutions to people. I have a CPR project on the lines. I have mental health project on the lines. I have a data collection project on the lines. These are all projects I'm working on to, baby steps. I think we're going to get there. For example, Cameroon is going to get there with baby steps. And these are things I'm always open to, like also ideas from other people, how I can improve stuff, how I can maybe attack stuff differently and better. So these are all stuff I'm doing. And if you want to keep in touch with what I'm doing, I have a lot of channels. You can reach me through LinkedIn. My name, Hillmann Batuo. You can always search that up. What else? My email is just hbatuo@gmail.com. You're probably going to put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll put everything in the description.
And my Instagram as well. I'm active on most social media platforms. Except TikTok.
For now.
Data, no.
Okay.
No. I don't think I'm gonna.
Jump on that train.
No, I'm not gonna get on that train. Hopefully not. But I'm on a lot of social media platforms, and he's gonna put all my handles. So if you want to reach me, feel free. I'm always open to discussing ideas, to talking about stuff, answering questions if you have any. So if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me.
Sure. Well, there you have it. Thank Hillmann, a true person of inspiration that we can draw upon. But yeah, man, you have a great day. You people out there, you also have a great day, even with this coronavirus going on. I hope you guys stay safe. And until the next time, I'll see you guys in the next episode. I will see you probably pretty soon, maybe later today.
Maybe later today.
So we don't live far from each other. But yeah, man. Until then, take care, everybody. And Hillmann, you also take care.
Thank you. You take care too.
I will also take care. Thank you.